time to sound off, Husker Nation. This is your Real Red Reaction Show on Lincoln's KFOR. Call the show now at 402-489-1240.
Welcome to it. It's Real Red Reaction. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbal, Tim Bob, Kit Smiller, and Hooksy as you're watching us here on the Stream Hail Varsity YouTube, Real Red Reaction YouTube channel, Hail Varsity Radio Twitter, KFOR Facebook and Twitter, and of course along KFOR, KFORnow.com where you stream, get your comments in, get your phone calls in, 489-1240, 800-825-5865. I'm still down here at the single barrel. Hooksy is in his man cave. Tim Bob's in his man cave. Elijah is stuck in studio. God bless and good luck. Fellas, a lot of mixed reviews. We'll all come up with a word to describe tonight's ball game. What we thought, if you're a gambling man or woman, depending on what you got the number at, Nebraska gets that done, 34-3. But really, my word's going to be some unevenness. And Real Red Reaction powered by your friends at Slim Chickens. 2 locations for you. 14th and Pine Lake to get them delicious wings, incredible dessert, and incredible customer service from Hooksy and Company. And, of course, 84th and Old Shady. Elijah, Hooksy, Tim Bob, hey, 3-0. High five that to accentuate the positive. First time in a while, 2016, Nebraska goes into conference play 3-0. But you just want some more. You want some more consistency. And just a couple of thoughts I have, and then I'll shut up. Nebraska looked like a team that didn't play anybody that ran the football the first 2 weeks. And it showed tonight as Northern Iowa did a good job of some misdirection early, some off balance. They held on to the damn football for 34 minutes or so, a 10-minute death march drive in that first half. So Nebraska didn't have the football a whole lot. So kudos to Northern Iowa. The Nebraska didn't tackle well, and they just didn't have a ton of rhythm going. And I still want to see more out of the run game, aside from Dowdell's big 38-yard run where they sputtered out and had to settle for a field goal. But I did like Emmett Johnson, his vision, cutting outside and getting in for the last touchdown. So my word is uneven, work to do. A lot of work to do as the schedule, which it's supposed to be manageable, looks a bit more daunting with what Indiana's done out of the Rose Bowl, and Rutgers being Rutgers, and Illinois comes to town. Elijah, what do you think?
Well, one of the things that we talked about yesterday on our show, Schmitty, was the 2 ways that teams get upset by teams such as Northern Iowa, FCS schools coming up beating FBS, the 2 ways it happens: arrogance or complacency. I didn't see any arrogance from Nebraska today. I don't think I saw any complacency, but I did see an emotional hangover following that Colorado game. So I don't think they were so off in terms of arrogancy or complacency that they're going to lose. But emotionally speaking, especially in that defensive side of the ball, it wasn't the same level of intensity. You saw it from Nebraska's defensive line and linebackers flowing to the football and run plays. You saw it from the defensive backs with their tackling. The emotional aspect of the game wasn't there for Nebraska's defense. I don't want to harp on them too much because it didn't look great from them. You gave up over 300 yards of offense to Northern Iowa, 18 first downs for that Panther team. I think you have to tip your cap to them a little bit for the game plan, but you also have to say at any level of football, no matter who the opponent is, it's a testament to how good your defense is if you hold them to 3 points. Nebraska held them to 3 points. I think some of the yardage and some of the stats can come down to an emotional hangover from that defense. But at the end of the day, you only allowed 3 points. It is a little bit nitpicky, but you wanted to see more from the defense. The offense still looks like it needs a little bit more rhythm. They didn't look emotionally hungover, but they still look like they need more practice. And I think a game like that is a good tune-up game for them. This team is not the full version of itself just yet. It has not reached its final form. You're still moving that way. I think it didn't look great today, but today's still going to be a step in the right direction.
Yeah, you know what, guys? I've got lackluster. I just keep thinking the word lackluster for me. One of those things, both sides of the ball. I thought the crowd, by the way, pretty impressive. They brought it more than Nebraska did on both sides. And, I was concerned about what it would be like at 6:30 after an emotional crowd-type game against Colorado. They were there. And it just didn't look like Smitty, you said, in rhythm. It just didn't. They looked kind of clunky at times, and the misdirection. We looked a little lost and a little beat up, and it was like, well, it's Northern Colorado. Here it is. We'll get to them. We'll figure our Northern. Sorry, we'll figure it out. We'll get there. We'll get out of this game and move on to next week.
Tim Bob, before we get to the phones, bud, the word you are thinking of tonight after Nebraska's 34-3 win.
Second half, lack of scoring, lack of execution. The first 3 weeks, they've come out and scored on their first drive. They've looked amazing that first half. Second half, they've come out in the third quarter and just kind of laid an egg. Now, I'll give Northern Iowa a lot of credit. When I saw those offensive linemen jogging on the field, I said, this looks like a version of Wisconsin used to, big old corn-fed boys that lined up and experienced. So I'll give them credit. They know who they are, and they executed. The defense held, but the offense missed some opportunities to score in the second half, got a little cute with some things. I understand you want to put things on film, but it only scares somebody if you score with it. So second half finish, score was just that's the frustrating. That's 2 weeks in a row they've had a big lead at halftime, and they've let the third quarter just kind of come and go without any kind of finish to it. And that fourth quarter, they got the touchdown, they got the interception. 2 weeks in a row, they've knocked out the opponent's quarterback, so you got to feel good about that. But second half, offensive lack of execution.
Let's go to the phone lines. Tad's with us. Can dial us up here on Real Red Reaction, 489-1240, 800-825-5865. The word that comes to your mind as a Nebraska fan after the 34-3 win. Tad, thanks for checking in. How we doing?
Good, guys. Good win. Here's my thing. We got to count 1,001, 1,002 with those offensive linemen when they're blocking. They're not staying on their blocks. They still can't run the football like they used to. Look at what Northern Iowa was doing. They were ganging up on us. They were 5-7 yards before the tackle was made. That's how we used to be. So one-dimensional is what I'm going to say.
Nope, that's a good word.
Run that football. If we cannot run that football at will against that football team, that shows you where we are right now.
No, plenty of work to do, Ted. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all with you want balance, and you have something right now that not a lot of teams in the Big Ten have, and that's Dylan Raiola. So Nebraska can get it done throwing the football, but we saw how that went last week with a one-dimensional team against a good pass rush. So Nebraska's got work to do running the football. They got to want to be good at running the football. They can talk about wanting to be good or give it its proper due, but when push comes to shove, Nebraska is a work in progress with their run game right now. Now, let's not forget that their best offensive lineman, we'll hear from Matt Rule here in a little bit, their best offensive lineman didn't play tonight.
Say one other thing. Can I say something else?
Sure.
Yeah. Everything we do on a run is a pretty run. It's a sweep. It's, something, it's not tradition like we are. We're Cornhuskers, and we pound the football. Now, I formation, anything, let's just show them what we're doing, and let's go for it, because you're never going to be good until you commit to it.
It's fair.
All right, boys. Thanks.
Thanks, Dad. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Dad.
And I don't
like his thoughts. Go ahead.
I don't think Nebraska is going to be a team that commits to running the football as much as Husker fans want them to. You look at the final stats today, 22 rushing attempts, 26 passing attempts on the game for Nebraska. 50-50 balance is what this team is going for. I think they understand they have a guy at quarterback that can beat a lot of teams and a running back room that can't do it all themselves, but it's a good change of pace. And I don't know. I just think we're past. It's Northern Iowa. You ran the ball decently against them. If we're being honest, the final stats might not look like with only 142 rushing yards.
They almost outrushed you. I mean, they ran for 139. They held the ball for plus 17.
I don't know how many more plays did they run than Nebraska today. It was a ton. They had like 20 more plays run. This is the stat that kills me today. Northern Iowa won the time of possession today by over 16 minutes.
Yep, 17.
Yeah. They absolutely held on to that football, tried to take the air out of the game. I'm not disappointed with the rushing attack. You look at 6.5 yards per rush, decent. 22 rushing attempts, he had 142, decent. You just wish Nebraska would have committed to running the football more because they were making hay there. They just didn't do it all that much. And I understand you have a 5-star quarterback that you need to get reps, you need to get experience. I think Nebraska could have ran the ball a hell of a lot more today if they wanted to, but that wasn't in the cards from the play calling. You can look at Satterfield. Is that a mistake or is that trying to get your freshman quarterback some experience? Because Raiola was good today.
He was incredible. I mean, at one point, until that 4th down incompletion, he was 13 of 15 going into halftime. He's dynamite. I mean, you want to be able to be dangerous in a good way running the football. And right now you're competent, right? So what we don't know, the unknown is, what is Nebraska going to be against a really good defense? What's Nebraska going to be against somebody that can I don't know, make life a living hell for you when you're trying to throw the football, if that's going to be your choice. And it is going to be Nebraska's choice throwing the football because you got a 5-star and you want to be a pro-style passing offense, but you still got to be better at running the ball. The passing game may help with that, but you just got to be able to settle in with what's working or get to a point, Tim Bob, on offense, running the football where just get downhill and just line up, go I formation like Tad called in and said, and just go attack until someone stops you.
Well, I don't think you're going to run the I formation. Okay, let's get real. This is the modern day of football. Shotgun formation. You're going to run zone reads. You're going to pull tight ends. You're going to use different blockers and different blocking schemes. But the fact of the matter is you have to commit to the run if you're going to be good at it. And most backs over the years, as the game goes on, they get in a rhythm with their line and with the tempo of the game, and they're able to impose their will. And I think that's what he's talking about overall. The backs that really punish teams in the second and third quarter, or the third and fourth quarter, I should say, second half of games, are backs who have gotten a rhythm. And the problem is we've got 4 really good backs. Dowdell, I think, is probably the starter and the power back. But you like what Johnson does. You like what Revere did out of the backfield. You've almost got too many weapons to commit to that one back. And I think the coaching staff alluded to that in the preseason. And it's a good thing and a bad thing. But I do think it does maybe come down to Satterfield's wanting to have that balance, and as opposed to being predictable with running the football. But as a Husker, as a Nebraska, you want to line up and just run over somebody like Northern Iowa. I say Northern Iowa knows who they are. The coach has been there 25 years. He's recruited the kind of kids he wants. He's an FCS, type of program. And I thought the defense, was tested like you wanted them to be, because I guarantee the pig farmer is going to come in there next week and run the dang ball.
I'll say there's a difference offensively in my mind between committing to the run and establishing the run.
Yeah, I agree.
I think what Nebraska wants to be as an offense this year is an offense that establishes the run but doesn't commit to the run. You think of Iowa as a team that commits to the run. Northern Iowa tonight, I would say for the most part, I know they threw the ball around a lot, but they with 39 rushing attempts committed to the run. Nebraska wants to establish the run. I think they did that tonight. And at the end of the day, it's a 31-point victory. It didn't look as clean as you want, and I think a lot of that can be chalked up to the fact that Northern Iowa held onto the ball for so long, 38 minutes time of possession. They had 71 plays compared to your 48 plays. They had more chances for things to go right. It wasn't a great performance by Nebraska by any means, but it's a sign of progress for Nebraska that we're nitpicking a 31-point victory.
I agree. But the first half, even though they ran the ball and established and had all that time, the offense came right back down the field and scored and made it 14-3, right? And then 21-3. So that efficiency in the first half just isn't translating to the second half is my biggest gripe. And I don't understand exactly why.
They're clunky right now on offense is the best way to put it. The other thing too, in that first half, some questions I had going into this, we all wondered hangover, how severe would the hangover be? And you can't replicate just how much they put into last week. That being said, they went to work this week and came out and looked clean on offense. That opening drive, they took the lead. Northern Iowa, I mean, we're talking 16 play, 10 minutes, 8-second drive. So Nebraska didn't get off the field as often as they'd like on third down. Your yards per carry, I mean, there was too many 7, 8, 9-yard runs on first down the entire game. And Northern Iowa had some guys open, to be honest. Total tackles for loss, what did Nebraska end up with? 4, 5? They had 1 going into halftime. They had 3, I think, going into the fourth quarter. So style of offense kind of lends itself to preventing Nebraska from doing some of the things like that. But again, it's a change in style. You go from spreading it out, Elijah, to a team that's going to try and run downhill. And I credit Northern Iowa. I mean, they didn't have the talent, but they're well coached, and they were just going to try and jackhammer you all game.
I'm not this negative about the game. Like, I think there's things to clean up, and we are being nitpicky here on a post-game show. That's what you do. You're going to be nitpicky. This is a game that Nebraska's defense allowed 3 points, and your offense didn't punt. Buschini didn't have
That's
one
true.
Like,
and you wanted that as a goal. I heard you during the week.
And
but from the eye test, I'm saying, did you expect it to look cleaner in week 3 as you get ready to go play in week 4 against Illinois?
And that's a fair point. I just wanted to lay out, we are making it seem worse than it was tonight.
Yeah,
it was a comfortable win that I don't want to say dominated Northern Iowa, but took care of them pretty handily. They had their moments, but it
wasn't a 27-24. They missed the overtime kick.
Exactly. It's as I left the post-game show with, I don't care who you're playing in college football. It's a testament to your defense to only allow 3 points, especially whenever Northern Iowa holds the ball for 38 minutes. They have 19 first downs. I think that stat's right in front of me. 18 first downs, which, you can complain about that. That's fair. But it's a testament to the defense. I think you should preface everything with that they only held Northern Iowa to 3 points. And yet the offense wasn't perfect. They had a turnover on downs and plus territory. They threw an interception, Dylan Raiola, but you didn't punt the football. Your offense up and down the field pretty well. Like, there's little things that held the offense back. In the defense, they were bend but don't break, but they never broke tonight.
Coach Darren, though, Chasing 3 said last week, this was a perfect game because we won, but I can still chew your ass tomorrow. So it's that kind of a game, right? We won, we executed, we did what we were supposed to do, but I can still take you in the film room and say, you need to work on this, this, and this if we're going to compete at the next level and continue to get better. So it's that kind of a game, took care of business. And again, 3 points, and that defense found ways to stop them, right? And that's a testament to the bend don't break mentality. So I apologize if we started out negative here because there are a lot of comments.
No, we'll dive in. We'll dive into the stream comments. Plenty of those. We want to hear from you on the KFOR hotline 489-1240. This is Real Red Reaction. That's Bill Hooks, Tim Bob Kitzmiller, Elijah Herbal. Real Red Reactions powered by your friend at Slim Chickens, 14th in Pine Lake, 84th in Old Shady. Bill Dolman is en route. No police escort needed. Just to get us on tap as I'm down here at the Single Barrel. Let me throw this out real quick.
We haven't gotten Hooksy's take. Hooksy, are you more positive or more negative about the performance tonight?
I'm kind of in the middle, honestly.
Are you annoyed? Are you annoyed? Or are you like, it's Northern Iowa?
I'm a little, you know what, Smitty, thank you. I'm just a little annoyed, but I kind of want to say maybe expected a little bit because I was thinking consistency. I think we played a lot more guys than we normally see. Like, I don't think we've gotten to the point in game 3 where there's a consistent, like, all right, it's Dowdell Ramir. We saw Emmett Johnson. We saw this. Heck, we saw Carter Nelson, by the way. Congratulations on your first touchdown. I think some of that inconsistency of players in and out caused some of this on the offensive side. Also, maybe it was some of that where we really haven't seen Dylan get down the field a lot and stretch this field. Let's get some of that on film. But I will say this. I'm annoyed at this fact that this is on tape. Illinois might be going, boy, now we know how to go beat Nebraska a little bit. So I'm annoyed by the fact that part, and I agree, the eye test is the eye test. It's like, man, this guy was in the stands with people going, they're yelling at the defense. What are we doing? What's happening? Why can't we stop them? So from a fan perspective, they're all probably perplexed tonight. But Elijah, like you said, we gave up 3 points. And again, are we at the point now where we can nitpick after the last few years of football we watched when your football team is sitting 3-0? But yeah, I'm a little annoyed by it, but I'm also going, gosh,
I don't
we're
think
3-0.
I don't think it's as much as ticked off that you're 3-0. It's okay. How grand can this team be this season?
Mm-hmm.
And you're applying what you saw tonight, at least I am, to future opponents. What's it gonna now? This team's gonna get better. You know what might be the problem? If you're sat, maybe you're trying to do too much with all the weapons you have to choose from. Versus, I mean, okay, I got to find a couple of running backs I got to keep happy. We got a wide receiver room that's damn good. And, yep, let's get the ball to Barney because he's a difference maker. But, man, we better get Lloyd deep a couple times a game, right? I mean, let's find Banks. Oh, where's Nayor? I mean, how about Fidone? We got to flip it to Fidone. You got 38 guys on offense, and we got to throw it 25 to 40 times to keep the 5-star. I'm just projecting outwardly. You're going to use a talent like that. I'll say this, though, from an explosive standpoint, in the going into the fourth quarter, Nebraska had passing plays of 59, 19, 24, 217 to 28 and an 18. And you can throw a screen pass. So there is that. I think there's a massive drop-off behind Bullock and Bayer, the linebacker, because you just looked better, you played better at that second level. Your leading tacklers in the first half were your safeties, which means your front line guys weren't getting that often. The ball stopped a yard or two past the line of scrimmage, and your freshmen, and I'm not saying Shavers played a bad ball game, not at all. But Thompson, did I screw that up again? Stefan, the linebacker.
Thompson, yeah, you got it.
Yeah. So I just think Bayer's head and shoulders. Your two linebackers are money. Your two starters, Bullock and Bayer. The guys behind him still got some work to do. They're not bad. I'm not saying that, but you have that, but just too many leaky yards, too many yards after contact. And second down wasn't 2nd and 10, 2nd and 11, 2nd and 12, or even 2nd and 9 that often. But I would give Northern Iowa credit. They moved the pocket. They rolled the quarterback. They ran the quarterback a little bit before he got DOA'd. So, you know what? Northern Iowa's they're probably the best team Nebraska's played this year.
I would agree with that.
Great point.
No,
I'm going to disagree with that.
Is Colorado cashing you a check as we speak?
No. I will just say I'm not going to compare the three. I don't think Nebraska has beaten a good team this year. Can we say that? I don't think Northern Iowa is the best, but
they're probably a playoff team.
I think they were the toughest team we played.
FCS playoff? Yeah. Probably. I don't think that Northern Iowa team probably goes and beats Colorado, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I just don't think any of those teams are good. None of those teams are the type of teams that you should be struggling with. I don't even think Nebraska struggled tonight. I think the question with how you as a Husker fan process this win tonight comes down to expectations. If you're expecting a 10-2 Nebraska team this year that's going to contend for a Big Ten championship and maybe backdoor their way into a playoff, you're probably feeling pretty disappointed by this game because Nebraska was not on their A game tonight. And if Nebraska has many more games like that this year, they're going to drop a few. It's as simple as that. But if your expectation coming into this one was, man, I just want to see Nebraska in a bowl game this year, 6-6, 7-5, you're satisfied with that.
My expectation wrongfully was probably an A game or give me a B+ game by week 3 going into conference play.
I still give last week's performance against Colorado a B+ overall, I think.
Okay. Let's get to some comments. And you grandpa was in. Numbers to dial up 489-1240, 489-1240. Real Red Reaction here, powered by Slim Chickens. Chris Schmidt here at the Single Barrel. Tim Bob in his man cave. Hooksy is in the bar. Elijah
the home bar. The home bar.
Yeah.
The home bar.
The home bar. And see? Okay.
Oh, that's a man cave.
Now I know why Hooksy's never invited us over. We'll need to wash our feet before we enter in. Mr. Erickson has mixed feelings. KG is here for those that gamble. Nebraska cover. I think if you got the right number. So Brennan, Black Hills Brennan says, these running backs are huge. For reference, Saquon is 6 foot 233. Their running back is 6'4", 230. They got him the ball in space too, throwing the football to him, which was nice. You have NASCAR Eric. He says just meh, and that's fine. Happy for the win, but a ton to get straightened out after this one. Walter said, "Isn't it fun to complain about 31-point victories?" Gotta love you. Gotta love you, Walter from South Philly or south of Philly. Nolan is here. Good game, boys. Could have been cleaner, but we'll take it. It was cleaner on the penalty front for the most part. Trevor's in. I got the 3 points right, but offense needed 22 more points. Real Matthews in. Trevor's here as well. Jack is in. Winning's contagious. Jan's in. Hey, Big Red, nice victory. Mr. Snitley, Brian Snitley, part of the Boulder Peace Treaty. Little underthrown, too much air on the deep end, but other than that, very solid for Dylan. Chuck is here. Chuck checks in, says Rules turning this team around. Kevin's in. He says, evening from Del Rapids. I love Del Rapids, South Dakota. Well, apparently an update from Brian. What happened with Kentucky, Georgia? Brian says Kentucky let Georgia out of jail.
Kentucky was leading most of that game. Has it gone final yet? That's what I don't know.
It's final. 13-12, Georgia.
Okay.
31-12?
13-12.
13.
Oh,
13.
Okay. So another wild pitch ties us and we go to extras?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Uncle Larry's in. Vic is here. Wasn't perfect, but they're improving. I think that's fair. They're improving.
Schmitty, Chuck's been waiting on the phone line for a while.
Chuck, you are very
Let's
patient. Go. Chuck, thanks for dialing us up here on the Real Red Reaction. Go for it. Appreciate the call.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I love the show. My question was about the confidence in the kicking game. Elvano hit 2 field goals, but in the first quarter on the Northern Iowa 25, they didn't go for it on 4th down. Do you think that's because Rule wasn't confident in Elvano, or do you think this game really helped Rule to build his confidence in Elvano and hitting those kicks? I'll hang up and listen to your answer. Thanks, guys, for taking my call.
Appreciate the phone call, Chuck. I'll say this. I think at that point in the game, you wanted to maybe step on him a little bit. So what's more of a sure thing, theoretically, kicking a field goal or going for it? Now, Nebraska threw an incompletion. It was a pass behind, which was a little rough. But that being said, I liked the call. I didn't like the execution. I still don't trust the field goal kicking, but 2 field goals are better than what's been going on.
My take on that is if you ask Matt Rule, he'll probably say something along the lines of, well, you only have so many opportunities to practice a fourth down play, and it's good to get an opportunity now before you're into a Big Ten play where it's the fourth quarter and you really need it. But I think in actuality, it speaks to the lack of confidence in the field goal kicking. I think that's like, you can sell it as, yeah, you need to get the fourth down look. That's probably what sways Matt Rule over the line. Hey, let's go for it here. But if you don't see the concern that should cause you in what Nebraska's field goal kicking is, I don't know what to tell you. I think that's the most flashing example. You can get 3 points headed into halftime, or you can get some experience on a fourth down play. 9 times out of 10, a coach is going to take his 3 points. By not 3 points there, read in between the lines. I think it lets you know how Rule feels about his kicker. The selling point will be, well, we wanted to practice a fourth down play, but
yeah, Elijah, I totally agree with you. I had the same concern. I'm like, wait a minute. Now, because the question will be is if that situation is next Friday, what are we doing? Mm-hmm. Right? You're going to have to kick at some point and get that 3. I thought it was a total lack of confidence and probably more of that, but also thinking my defense should be able to be fine against whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I want to go back because, Shmine, you brought up a great point about the confidence level. And we talked about it. Is this going in? There was talk about, all right, boy, get this game. You're looking 7-0 right in the face. You're going 10-2, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of people that left today going, I don't know about Friday. I don't know about the next 3 after that performance. Again, 31-3. You win by 31 points, but you're now going, timeout. Are we as good as we think we are? Or maybe they lack the confidence to know how good they are. Now you're not going, man, Friday night would be Illinois. We can get them, blah, blah, blah. There's a little bit lack of that now, I think, amongst some people going into Friday night.
I don't know. I still feel like Illinois was always going to be a challenge, right? Illinois and Rutgers, in my mind, are the 2 challenges that are really ahead. Purdue got destroyed by Notre Dame today. UCLA did not look good against Indiana. I'm more a little scared about Indiana than I am about UCLA now. But, Illinois was going to be, to me, in my mind, the first real test. And I think Northern Iowa was a really good tune-up and a good, if you will, check yourself in terms of being able to stop the run. Because they knew Northern Iowa was going to come in here and commit to run the football. They had a big offensive line, experienced guys. And I'll go back to Elijah, give him credit. Tony White's defense figured out a way to hold them to 3 points and got some turnovers, got some interceptions. We're there to knock down some plays, give Northern Iowa's receivers, they made some really good catches against some good defense. So, again, my biggest problem is the second half, they just didn't execute like they did in the first half. And that's happened 2 weeks in a row. And that's my biggest concern.
You guys got us okay. We had to do a little MacGyvering. Say hi.
Hi.
You got Bill?
Yeah,
okay.
Looks great.
I'll be damned. Okay. We sacrificed a live chicken and gave Joe Boo some rum.
No cats.
No cats.
No cats.
We saved that for Ohio State week, right?
Yes, we do.
Cats are safe in Lincoln.
Bill Dolman with us here, Pride of Fairbury, the professor, Tim Bob Kitzmiller, Bill Hooks, Elijah Herbal, Chris Schmidt, Bill and I here at the Single Barrel Real Red Reaction. Check out the YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Hail Varsity YouTube, Hail Varsity Radio, Twitter, KFOR, Facebook. Chris and Elijah. Bruce, good to see you too.
Bruce in the Black Hills.
Yes, Bruce, you're awesome, man. Good to see you for the Colorado game, my first NU game. Bruce, keep on coming back. I think Nebraska fans will welcome you back with a 3-0 start. Dolman, and let's hear from Colin. Colin's in South Bend. Sat doesn't adjust after halftime. Nebraska's averaging 7 points a game in the second half so far against 3 bad teams. Thankfully, the D's only given up 20 total points, plenty of time. There's not a SAT fan club in South Carolina. That being said, SAT has an offense. SAT can spread it out. He's Rule's guy, and you've got Mr. Glenn Thomas here that's done great work with the quarterbacks. he's also another set of eyes, ears, and input on offense. So, Bill, the word for you to describe Nebraska's performance tonight, I said uneven. Hooksy said lackluster. Tim Bob was circling second half. Elijah, what was your word again, bud?
I didn't use a word. I just kind of sidestepped that and just gave my general thoughts on the game. But if I had to pick a word, juiceless, lifeless. I didn't feel like the team came out with much juice, but whenever it's a 31-point victory, okay.
Are we nitpicky, or did you like what you saw tonight?
Well,
the eye test was
apparently Nebraska football is back. If we are after 20 years of wandering in the wilderness, half the time of the Israelites leaving Egypt, I mean, a lot less. But look, it is. It's nice to be kind of nitpicking about certain things, but I think this is post Colorado. I've said it all week that, and even for longer, that there was so much going into that Colorado game, and Nebraska put on a hell of a show last week. Not just the game. I'm talking about the entire enterprise. That you had the feeling that there was going to be a little bit of a hangover, a letdown. Fortunately, it was after a Colorado win, and that Northern Iowa was the best team Nebraska's played so far.
Ding, 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 ding.
Wow.
And I know that Colorado has some special talent, but in terms of being overall offense, defense, and coaching, they were better than Colorado. And I think Colorado found that out when they played North Dakota State, that those FCS teams are really well coached, and they've got the right type of profile for the players that they want for their program. And but I think for Nebraska, it's really not a surprise that it was a little lethargic. I think it was kind of eye-opening that the Northern Iowa, and credit them, an 11-minute drive the first time they touched the football and just took it right down the black shirts' throats a couple times. But that 11-minute drive was everything that they probably drew it up, and they saw a lot of weaknesses and things that they could exploit, and they did.
Spread them out in misdirection.
Yeah, and I would think that there's probably some things that Brett Bielema and Greg Schiano are going, wow, we're going to watch the Northern Iowa tape and not necessarily the Colorado tape as we scout Nebraska for next week and a couple of weeks from now. But look, I think for Nebraska, it was post Colorado, it was post the big show. Nebraska passed that test. And I think that Nebraska did enough right to win convincingly and enough wrong for Matt Rule to get his team's attention, chew him out a little bit tomorrow, and really focus in for Friday night.
Two things. One, we mentioned Bayer. There's drop-off at linebacker beyond Bayer and Bullock. No Mazuka. I think he's key. But you didn't have the Butler. Jamari didn't go tonight. I think he's kind of your emotional heartbeat. He's your vocal heartbeat.
And I don't think Van Poppel went either. He wasn't listed in the availability report, but he was suspicious.
No, he did not.
Suspicious.
I think they have plans
on the sideline.
I think they have plans for him.
I see.
4-game?
4-game. Because he played last year. Bring that back up. I missed the comment of the stream.
What I agree with more than Northern Iowa's the best team Nebraska's played this year. Northern Iowa's had the best offensive line, no doubt about it. That I can agree with.
That's a good point.
If you
they are better coached than Colorado is.
If you put the Colorado uniforms on Northern Iowa, though, and you get that same level of juice that Nebraska had last week, I think Nebraska wins this game tonight by 50 points.
Well, they should have won last week's game by 50 points. But I'm just talking overall, the organization. I think they are better coached. They know exactly what their identity is. They came in and did exactly what they wanted to do with that first drive. No, they were not going to beat Nebraska, but neither was Colorado. But in terms of a better football team, organization, whatever you want to call it, Northern Iowa, and I would even say North Dakota State, even though they lost to Colorado, it is a better coached football team for what they want to do. But we've got some mood lighting here now.
Apparently, keep your hands above the table. Part of the Boulder Peace Treaty, Jeff Snitley chimes in. Snitley's right on here. You and I kept the black shirts off balance. That's absolutely accurate. Kept the pass rush at a minimum. and they sat on the football. Going to have to make Illinois one-dimensional, or it could be close.
I think it's going to be close anyway.
Yeah, I think so too.
I agree. So
Yep.
We don't have today's line tomorrow or tomorrow's line today, however it goes. Tuck says, Tim Bob, your mic needs to be closer to your mouth.
That's an old comment. I've already fixed that.
Okay, thank you.
I've already
I'm behind here. Geek Stradamus says 6.5 yards per rush, not a problem. Them 3.6 per rush, great. Now Nebraska did all right with the yards per carry. There was just a few too many 8-9 yard pops, I think. Dylan was fantastic, looked good. I'm sure he's not happy. Walter says Sad is not committed to running the bleeping ball. 0 fumbles through 3 games is good.
Well, that's not true.
Not true.
One.
not true.
There it is.
Plus 3 turnover margin is good. So what was the score? Stop whining. I hear you. But some of the young guys got in. Duck gets in. I'm greedy. I wanted them to win. So there's some stream-on-stream crime going on here with folks going back and forth. 489-1240. You want to chime in on Real Red Reaction. NIU would beat Colorado 9 out of 10 times. Chuck. Love it, Chuck.
I don't agree, but
No, we'll hear from Matt Rule. We'll hear from Dylan Raiola. And I think
I tell you what.
one thing that I don't like. I don't like how Nebraska tackled. I didn't like how they ran the football. I don't like how they tackled. 2 big runs for Nebraska on offense. That's great. But it's like Nebraska won't just stick with consecutive run plays and just get downhill for more than a couple of play calls. And it almost feels like they got to throw the football. And I know you should with that talent at quarterback, but are you going to get good at running the football? Is Nebraska good at running the football right now?
I wasn't dissatisfied with the Husker run game today. And I think that might be the generation gap between us, Schmitty, and what you got to grow up watching.
Just say I'm an old bastard. It's okay.
I wasn't upset with it. Here's the thing. If this is a game against a Big Ten foe, my question is would Marcus Satterfield in that moment, knowing it's not a tune-up game, commit to what's working for you? Because running the football, I think, was working today. Did they commit to it? No, I think they established it. We kind of laid that out early in the show. I think they established the run. I don't think they committed to the run. I think it's the type of game where you wanted to run some plays against an actual defense, an actual team, and see what happens, see what works. I think you want to get things on film for yourself to go back and watch. I'm not going to overreact to this game because you're 3-0. It's a 31-point victory. Were things perfect? No, but we don't know what's going on in that headset. We don't know what they're trying to show Illinois on film. There's so much that goes into game planning and coaching. I'll tip my cap to Northern Illinois, or Northern Iowa, I should say. I think they had a really, really good offensive game plan. I'm with Jeff here. They played well. They had a good game plan. At the end of the day, it's still a 31-point victory for Nebraska. And that's what I keep on coming back to is it wasn't perfect. No, I think the defense lacked a lot of juice. The offensive play calling left a little bit to be desired, the execution as well, but you still won by 31 points.
Joel asked the question most of Nebraska's wondering. For those in the stream, Real Red Reaction, YouTube, Hail Varsity, YouTube.
I don't think that means what they thought it meant.
No, I know.
Especially, Matt Rule's got it's up his sleeve.
Oh, guys.
That's no good.
Well, to change the subject, you're welcome.
Yes.
I would love to have had a live camera stream from Caesars or some sports book when Nebraska, a 30.5-point favorite, gets a touchdown and trots in a backup kicker to make it a 31-point game or not, and he just sneaks it in the right upright. That was a classic moment for entertainment purposes only.
Of course. Yeah, so, positive Mike, who's kept his title changed from negative to positive, says, look, they stall out in the second half. Let's talk about the second half and what's gone on. And Nebraska got the big touchdown run. They got the field goal. What they end up putting up in the second half total? How many points? 13.
I think that's right.
Yeah, 13. Yep. So we're still in search of 4 quarters, and that's what I thought I'd see tonight. I overlooked the hangover part. That's very real. Nebraska performed similar to what a lot of college football teams do after a big ball game. It's that 18 to 22-year-old roll of the dice where you're asking and begging for consistency, Tim Bob.
Yeah, I mean, again, I still say it's a good tune-up game. It's like Coach said, we won by 31 points. We're 3-0, but they still have an opportunity to go in the field room and say, we need to not run into the punter when we're trying to block the punt. We need to get off the field and not have a late hit out of bounds. We're still chasing 3 because of these little mistakes, and that's how you get better week to week, and that's what the mantra's been, and that's what they've talked about. And so, again, I just feel like my concern in the second half, and especially after Dowdell had that long run down there and they got kind of cute, they put in Harburg and tried to run a quarterback lead, and then they tried to run that quick handoff inside, and that was the one where I said, just hammer the ball, score the touchdown, and take that decisive lead. And that was the one where I was like, that one kind of bothered me. But I do want to say the play in the first half when the defender came free and Dylan was able to just step up and avoid that, step around and deliver the ball down the field was big time. I mean, flat out, that's the reason he was the star, the big recruit that he is, and he's put in the work, and that was money. My son texted me and said he is a bad man. just his confidence and his poise in the top pocket at 19 years old. A couple of times he climbed the pocket and delivered the ball, especially in that first half. I really think, there's some bright spots here, but again, plenty for the coaches to go in there and say, we need to fix this, we need to fix this, we need to fix this. We're still chasing 3.
Fair enough. 489-1240 to get in. Real Red Reaction powered by Slim Chickens. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbal, Bill Hooks, Tim Bob Kitzmiller, the Pride of Fairbury joining us here at the Single Barrel. Bill Dolman, the professor. More your comments coming in. Brandon says, good to see the backups getting in, getting some reps. We'll take a quick time out as we get closer to the 11 o'clock hour. And we'll also take you till midnight and do that. Any extra time, it'll be Real Red Reaction After Dark. And 2 locations of Slim Chickens. And then make sure you get some wings for your NFL slate. And Huxley, tell us about some of the flavors, brother. 14th in Pine Lake and 84th in Old Shady. You've got the dry rub. You've got the sauce. You've got the desserts. You've got the chicken fingers. You've got all the goodness, brother, of Slim Chickens.
Yeah, man, that's a ton of rice, but it's a big differentiator for us for sure. I mean, anywhere from your buffalo sauce to sweet red chili to spicy barbecue to just plain wings, man. It's a whole variety. It'll fit anybody's palate. So appreciate it.
And I'll also say, I don't know what's the flavor that made Will cry, because
it's called Victory.
We still have Will's antacid tablets in you. With spicy wings at chicken.
So was that punishment on the morning hookup? What was that?
We did a YouTube challenge for our listeners on the morning hookup, and he lost. We got to the goal, and he lost in a lot of ways. It was the Inferno challenge.
Oh, okay. So the urban legend was apparently Pelini's staff would really pick on Jamrog. Okay, they called him Hog,
okay.
And they, because he would sweat and sweat and sweat with spicy food, and they would sneak ghost pepper onto the sandwiches he'd order. And so Hog, as they said, would be hammering a sandwich on the bus on the way home, and he'd just be drenched because somebody'd throw a little ghost pepper on the sandwich, and it tasted great apparently, but Man, that's got some kick. And just drenched, looked like he came out of a swimming pool. Do you have the ghost pepper option?
We don't, but we have the Inferno, which is just the same, man. I tell you, when Will ate them, it just kind of started, and you could see like the redness like start here. And his face just went red and red and red and red. And then next thing you know, he got through the wings. It's like, we need to take a break because I got to go to the bathroom. Like, I got to get out of here. So
there we go. Hooks is going to the can. We're going to break.
That's what Will said back.
No, yeah, that's what Will said after eating the wings.
Wow. Spunky's, in the stream, I guess we're too negative. Spunky, you going night, or you just going back to the bar? Fangway is like, I'll place my order. He wants some jalapeno, but the interception, Nebraska challenged that. It was underthrown.
I don't know how that was. I don't agree with that. Confirmed. I could okay, maybe stands, but
is it like Ty goes to the runner
when they both had possession of the ball? Lloyd's hip was on the wallet was on the turf.
Okay,
so the play's dead, and then when they rolled over, he pulls it out of his arms, and they get the ball to Northern Iowa.
Right
from the TV angle that they showed. I don't know what they showed in the stadium. From the TV angle, Lloyd never had possession of that football.
That's what I saw.
He had it somewhat pinned to his hip with his elbow. Never quite looked like he had possession.
I didn't think that either one had possession when they went to the ground.
It looked to me like the Northern Iowa guy had it, and Lloyd was wrapping up his arms, kind of trying to fight for the ball. There definitely seemed to be a disconnect between those who watched on TV and those who watched it in the stadium.
I will say this: I would. Dylan's great. There's no question. 3 straight games, 70% plus, but he's kind of done what I said he needed to do at the beginning of the season, and that is put the ball in a place where his receivers can make plays for him.
Mm-hmm.
But he hasn't been able to place it like in stride. He had the ball last week with Lloyd when he got free and he overthrew him a little bit. But for the most part, there have been a couple where they, like the one last week also that was caught at the 2-yard line that kind of hung up, and I think it was Lloyd made that catch and had to come back and get it. There was another play again tonight where they had to the ball kind of hung up a little bit, and the receiver had to make a play on it. So I mean, you talk about nitpicking. I'm just noticing that long pass, with catching the guy in stride and not letting the ball hang up. That's, man, if I've got to find something to give him an A- from instead of an A, that's it. His receivers have done a terrific job of completing passes when the balls have been thrown to them and not directly at them. But he's been great. There was one point in the game where his passer rating was 275.
It was nuts.
Wow.
Now it went down, but 275 midway through the game.
It's pretty solid. 13 to 15 at one point. Incredible. We got to take a timeout. We'll come back with Matt Rule. It's Real Red Reaction. Can dial us up at 489-1240. Tim Bob Kitzmiller, Bill Hooks, Elijah Herbal, Chris Schmidt, Bill Dolman. And like and subscribe the Real Red Reaction YouTube channel. Hail Varsity YouTube, Hail Varsity Radio Twitter, KFOR Twitter, and KFOR Facebook. All channels to catch us along the KFOR airwaves as well. 1240 AM, 101.5 FM, and of course KFORnow.com is where you can stream. As always, a quick timeout. Matt Rule on the way with Real Red Reaction powered by Slim Chickens.
There's just nothing like live music. It has the ability to motivate, inspire, and enhance a moment, a night, and a lifetime like nothing else. Treat yourself to a live music escape or give someone you love the gift of a concert experience. Check out the complete lineup of upcoming shows at PinnacleBankArena.com and review the list of acts scheduled to perform outdoors this season at PinewoodBowlTheater.com. Behold the joy of live music and immerse yourself in spectacular sights and sounds at Pinnacle Bank Arena or Pinewood Bowl.
Hi, this is Matt Berkey, co-owner of Golden Rule Contractors. We have been installing roofs all over southeastern Nebraska for 27 years and counting. We have customers in York, David City, Seward, Lincoln, and Beatrice, just to name a few. If you have experienced storm damage and needed a roof, contact us at 402-473-2975 or online at grclincoln.com. We treat your home as if it were our own.
Our lives only have so much time. But if you smoke, you have less. Your life could be 10 years shorter. And the time you do have is often filled with health problems. Shortness of breath, asthma, COPD, and cancer. But the minute you quit, your body starts healing.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Air. The guys with the stars and stripes on their trucks and patriotism in their tool belts are looking for skilled, reliable, hard-working technicians who will give the same honest advice to customers as they give their sister. Patriot Plumbing is a large company with local values, offering paid health insurance and competitive wages, plus plenty of work for experienced plumbers, HVAC service technicians, and machine operators. To join the Patriot team, get in touch today at patriotlincoln.com/careers.
My bathroom was looking tired. The sparkle was gone. I wanted to update it, but I didn't want to spend a fortune and turn my home into a construction site, so I needed some guidance. My friend told me to go to Handyman.
You've got your very own Handyman to help remodel your home.
I couldn't believe all the mirrors, lights, and accessories they had on display in their showroom. Man, was it handy being able to walk through the showroom with the help of the Handyman staff.
Make your bathroom the best reflection of you.
Contrary to popular belief, it doesn't always take a wrecking ball to update your ugly bathroom.
Replace your bathroom light bar, mirror, faucet, and towel bars without breaking the bank or the walls.
Come in and see what's trending at Handyman. We have dozens of mirrors and lights in stock and on display. Just pick one out and take it home.
Grab coordinating faucets and towel bars, and you can DIY your bathroom in one weekend.
During September, save 10% on all mirrors and light bars and bring a new sparkle back into your home.
Under the arch on Sun Valley Boulevard, Lincoln.
Handyman.
From
Will you marry me?
To
I do.
There's a lot of planning. And as a business that helps a happy couple create their dream wedding, you can make their journey easy. Reserve a booth at the Lincoln Wedding and Celebration Show, Sunday, January 12th at the Cornhusker Marriott, downtown Lincoln. This event makes planning, finding inspiration, and collecting ideas for the big day simple because it's all in one place. Contact Alpha Media to reserve a booth at the Lincoln Wedding and Celebration Show.
Go to KFORnow.com.
You don't have to put your remodeling dream on hold. You're home. And now that time can be more productive than you imagined. With 3-Day Kitchen and Bath, your dream can be completed in 3 days. Guaranteed. But here's the best part. You start online at 3daykitchen.com. That's the number 3, then daykitchen.com. Start your remodel right by requesting a virtual meeting. This allows the 3-Day pros to meet and greet you without actually getting together in person. So much can be done in these virtual meetings that you don't have to put your remodeling dream on hold. You've got the time. And now you have the means to start and complete a remodel in just 3 days. Kitchen, bath, both. Visit 3daykitchen.com or call 877-229-8829 and get details. Remember, that's the number 3, then daykitchen.com or call 877-229-8829.
This is the Real Red Reaction Show. Phones are open now. 402-489-1240.
Back here at the Single Barrel, it's Real Red Reaction. Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbal. Bill Hooks with the morning hookup, and Tim Bob Kitzmiller. Chance for you to get in. Got an hour here to give us what you think, your rating of Nebraska's performance. Good, bad, ugly. Yay, they're 3-0. Conference play starts Friday against Illinois. That'll be big time. 2 ranked teams, possibly, very likely. What Matt Rule think? Let's hear from the head coach, Dylan Raiola, also coming up. Your comments, a word to describe tonight's victory for Nebraska. What word do you use? 489-1240. Here's Coach and his thoughts, Coach Rule, right now.
Yeah, just start by saying how much respect I have for that football team. their football team. They competed to the very end. I thought the quarterback, I thought Dunn was a competitor, gritty, tough. They came here to try to win the game. I respect that. I respect the way they played. Chu was in the game to the very end. So that was a kind of competitive stamina and fire that we needed to compete against. Really happy with our twos at the end of the game to keep them out of the end zone. It's the 2 out of 3 games we've had a fourth quarter shutout. Really happy with our 2 offenses. They went down and scored a touchdown. So with that, I'll see what questions you guys have.
Coach, just 48 offensive plays from scrimmage. The flow of this game, so how they were moving the ball with a 10-minute drive to start, and how much did it kind of maybe throw the rhythm of what we wanted to do all the time?
Well, I think the 48 plays because we went right down and scored. We had 3 possessions and we scored on 3 possessions, right? So it's they did a great job in that they used up 10 minutes on that first drive. I mean, they were literally just sitting in the huddle looking to the sideline. There was a master class by Coach Farley in how to keep these games, the way you want to keep them, right? Move the pocket, ran the quarterback. They cut us a ton. So, we have these pass rushers, and all of a sudden now they got a fullback cutting them on their legs. It was really well done by them. But I think offensively, we scored our touchdowns on our first 3 drives, and we got down there and, we went 4 on 4th and 3 on the 4th drive. So there just weren't a lot of drives. So yes, I'd love the defense to be able to get the ball back for us a little bit sooner. But I also thought the offense was unbelievably efficient. You go down the next, then you come out of the half, we answer, I think, a takeaway the first drive. We answer a takeaway, we go down and score. Now we have to get in the end zone. Then the next drive we score. So, not a lot of punt work tonight for Buschini.
There was a 59-yard pass from Dylan to Jalen. He kind of shakes free and then kind of looks back. What did you think of that, of just his skill set on that play and his awareness to look so quickly back and see the ball?
Well, that's the same play we ran last week that, the kind of the play that everyone made, was kind of a highlight reel play that he threw on the run. So that's a play where we roll right, but then we throw a post back left. You have to have an elite athlete like Jalen to do that. And so they blitzed off the edge. And so that's not the right play for that defense. So they called the right defense. But, I've noticed a lot, even in the first game, he's done a great job of always avoiding the first rusher. When people come free, he does a good job of, finding space and time and making the throw. But, he knew that that's where to go, especially with pressure. He knows he's going to flatten it. And Jalen was right where he's supposed to be.
You see that in him through the offseason, that he was going to have that, that ability to have that sense of where the pass rush is coming from and the mobility to avoid a guy in a situation like that?
Yeah, I think, when people have asked me what makes him special, I say that he's not a 7-on-7 quarterback. He likes the game part of it. Even the short yardage play, that's what, JJ McCarthy was doing in Michigan last year, handing out the fullback dive, they come out tight, he pull it every once in a while, and he pulled it, so he just knows when to make the right play.
We're a quarter way through the season. What do you love? What do you hate?
I don't know about that. I like being 3-0. There's nothing that I hate. We're just going to get better each week. When we start Big Ten play, I kind of refer to this as the preseason. In my mind, we're learning how to win. As I told our team, the narrative of losing close games comes from trying to, when you get a lead, not trying to put the game away. And so the questions I get asked a lot are about like, hey, why aren't you guys doing more of this in the second half? Well, that's what led to a lot of close losses, right? So we want to score, get a lead if we can, play defense and run the football. And then I want everyone to say, why are you guys so boring in the fourth quarter? And then we win. And that's sincere. I just to make sure my team hears that because they're kind of like that. That being said, we wanted to be aggressive a while because this was a good night for us to work on our passing game. And that's why we threw that post at the end. It was there. We thought we had it. It sounds like their kid made a play. I thought we came down with it, but we didn't. So it is what it is. But I think I'll watch the tape to see exactly where we are. I felt like early on we didn't tackle as well as we normally do, and but I did like the energy the defense came out with in the second half. That had all the makings of one of those games where if you're not locked in the second half, they score a touchdown. All of a sudden, it looks like a game you're in control of. You're not, and what we're trying to do is control games. That's what good teams do. So I felt some of that tonight.
Carter Nelson at full catches 48 yards, was in the end zone for the first time as a Husker. Just can you speak to his growth to get to this point and having arrived in the summer?
Yeah, I mean, Carter's, like I said, this is his third game playing with, 22 people on the field, so I mean, he's growing and, he had a couple little packages for him. 2 of them got called early, which was great. One was the red zone call, which is like an option route, and he won on the option and scored, through the middle screen to him. So, I think the sky's the limit for the things that he can do. They're doing a good job of bringing him along, slowly in my mind. And when I say slowly, in terms of like giving him tasks to master, because he wasn't here in the spring. But tonight was a tough night to get the ball spread out to everybody, going back to the whole 48 plays. You have all these guys you want to get the rock to, but it's a good thing when, you throw a ball to Jalen, he changes, flips the field. And, they had a penalty that gave us some yardage as well. So
What was your how did you feel about getting a package for Heinrich and down there near the goal line, and what did you think of the way that executed?
Yeah, we put it in. He was in on the screen to Carter. He was in a tailback on that too. So, I think there's a lot of things that we want Heinrich to be able to do, and he does. Every time he goes in, we don't want him just to be like, a wildcat quarterback, right? I thought what I was really pleased with Heinrich was when he got in at quarterback, the way he managed that third down, finding the check down was awesome. And they were bringing a lot of zero blitz. He checked, they checked, he reloaded it on the long touchdown run. But yeah, we'd like to get a little bit more out of the quarterback run part of it. But I'll be honest with you, Mitch, one thing I've learned, every time we put a quarterback run on tape, another team has to practice it. And so they don't have to necessarily work. I just have to chew up 20 minutes of their time each day, worrying about option and worrying about those things, because we can run all the options with Heinrich. We can get under center still and run belly G option, right? We can do all that. And so I need them practicing that, because that's one less time that they're practicing the other stuff that we're doing.
What did Emmett show you this week in practice? It got him early to chance, and then take another step.
Yeah, we wanted Emmett to be the third down back this week. We felt like he would do a good job in the protections and getting out and catching the football. We're trying to diversify some of the roles. We didn't have a ton of third downs. We were kind of not necessarily needing the third downs. And then that run at the end was great. One thing about Emmett that's happened, last year and this year is he's kind of like been a closer in some games, right? Whether it was Northwestern last year or Purdue, or I can't remember if the games started to run together for me. But even, Maryland, Wisconsin, he had long runs that put us in position to at least try to win those games. And so he's a guy that comes in the fourth quarter, change of pace, makes people miss. And that was a big time run for us.
Michael was out, and I don't think Jamari played. What was their status?
Yeah, Jamari just is still sore from last week. So we got him ready to play. He was warmed up. And, we were going to start Cam. So he was kind of questionable, and then kind of got out there and just didn't have the same pop. I just was worried that if I played him, he might get hurt. And so we feel good about James and Keona. He just didn't have the burst that we thought he would. He was trending. He practiced a little bit on Tuesday, practiced a little bit. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. So I thought he'd be able to go. And if he needed to, he probably would have gone. But this was a unique week, and that it was a short week as well. We're on in Big Ten play on Friday. So being able to save him, not need him, was probably important. And then, Mike, I'll probably address that later. It's just coach's decision. He's still with us. He just didn't play tonight.
How prepared is this team now for Big Ten play? How nice has it been to have the 3 home games and just to kind of build your team here in Lincoln versus on the road?
Yeah, I think one of the key things, Sean, is getting a lot of guys in the game. Even at the end, you have Maverick Noonan, you have, Ishmael Smith-Flores, you have Amari Sanders, you have all these guys out there playing meaningful minutes. You had your whole second line playing meaningful minutes. And so that to me, that's been really good that with 2 of the 3 games, we've been able to get the 2s and some of the 3s into the game. You never know when it comes to conference play, you never know where you are till you get there. Right. And so, some teams blow out some teams, play other teams closer. It's really, even when you look at stats, when I look at the Big Ten, I only look at Big Ten versus Big Ten stats. I don't look at even the non-con stats. The Big Ten puts out like their Big Ten only stats, because we have to see kind of where we are with each other. So I'm anxious for Friday night. I'm anxious, that they're a good team. I think they'll probably end up being ranked. Hopefully we stay ranked. And I don't know, last time 2 ranked teams played each other, I think they were 26 last week in the AP poll. I'm a big fan of Coach Bielema. So hopefully they move up and be a cool night on this coming Friday night.
Couple more there. Can you talk about just dealing with the short week heading into conference play and just preparation for that?
Yeah, well, last year we were going in this game, we just lost to Michigan, and we put on pads and practiced on Sunday. So maybe a little different tenor this week. But, even there, as I was walking out, Marquise Buford was making it very clear to everybody, like, coming in here tomorrow ready to work. Normally Sunday's our off day. We do a big family dinner with the players' families and our families. We won't be able to do that tomorrow. It'll be a work day for us. And our off day this week will be next Saturday. So we'll work tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The great thing is we're not traveling. Our Friday game is, obviously at the end of the season versus Iowa. But we'll work tonight. We'll work tomorrow. Because it was a night game, I had a chance to watch their game today. We worked some today, worked some yesterday to be prepared for Illinois, and we'll see what happens.
Coach Jacory, after so many big plays, got the call back.
Oh, fired up for him. I mean, thought that was a heck of a call by, Sat, calling reverse on the 12. I wouldn't do that. A little more conservative. But, and I thought, Borkacher did a great job, came around and made a big block for him. And great to see Jacory get in. And, when he plays with joy. And it was great, great to see the review kind of go our way. That was a big call, when he, they had called him down the field and then, they ruled that he was behind the line. I appreciate the Big Ten for changing that one. So, Jacory's a weapon. He had that deep over that we hit early on. So you keep trying to find ways to get him the ball.
The interception by Dylan, obviously challenged it. What did you think of that play? I mean, you wanted to make the throw.
That's the right throw. Yeah, that's 100% the right throw. I mean, it's quarters, safety triggers. We try to throw the out route to Thomas. He triggers it. You throw the post. That's one-on-one. The thing with Dylan is you're going to play NFL football with him. Like if he's going to throw the ball to a spot and he's expecting his guys to go make a play on the ball, and I thought Jalen made the play on the ball, so I'm not in any way throwing Jalen the bus. They'll say their kid made a play, But if we don't put those things on tape, then we'll throw the post first quarters. It's going to be a long year. We had that conversation. I think Sam had asked it the other day about Iowa and all. So you have to hit those posts, and their kid made a nice play. I challenged it because I learned last year. We had 3 or 4 plays that the next day, hey, the replay was wrong. And so what I learned was you can challenge the replay. So as I looked at it up on the screen, it looked like Jalen came down with the ball. So I was at least going to challenge it. I didn't need the timeout. It wasn't a wasted timeout. They told me that, hey, they've already cleared it. But I was told last year you can still challenge it. And you should still challenge it if you think it's wrong. So I challenged it and didn't win.
All right.
That's Matt Rule post game, and he's going to, he said, address the Mazuka stuff later. Still with us, so that's good. Nebraska's best offensive lineman didn't suit tonight. You heard a little bit more of an explanation on Jamari Butler, and it is conference play coming up here Friday, a short week for the Big Red. And he laid out some of the thinking as to what they want to do or what their thoughts are on offense. Are you burning time, worried about everything you see on film? What are you going to pare down to? Or are you going to try and prepare for everything? So there's a lot of things, guys, as we can kind of touch on next week a little early here. We'll hear from Dylan Raiola as well in a moment. Nebraska handled their business tonight, 34-3. Work to do, but Coach Rule nailed it. He wasn't as ticked about the time of possession. They were efficient. 3-minute drives. You get touchdowns, and you go up going into half, 21-3. That is a great word for how the offense did look in the first half. They were efficient. You do have 13 points put up in the second half. Good work. That said, it was just not on all cylinders, and that's okay. It's week 3. This team, though, will continue to try and get better. They have some things to deal with. 3 TFLs is a low number, but it was a run-first, run-heavy team. You're not always going to get TFLs. They're not dropping back to throw. You had a lot of experience. Seems like this is, Elijah, a big picture coaching staff and head coach with what they're trying to do. And it's, yes, they're coaches, but they're teachers at heart. They're getting experience. They're putting guys in live situations, and they're planning or trying to be steps ahead here when it gets to crunch time. And I don't want to say tougher ball games, but conference games have a whole lot of more meaning than tonight.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I led off our show by saying tonight was, at the end of the day, a step in the right direction. Not only because you got better, or you're going to get better based on this game. You're going to get in their film room tomorrow, identify the mistakes, clean them up, probably have a more specific game plan for how you go out there and beat Illinois, but also because that's a game that in years past, Nebraska would not have won by 31 points. With as much as Northern Iowa was moving the football on them, with as much as Nebraska has struggled along the lines of scrimmage in the past 5 years, that game doesn't end up being a 31-point victory for Nebraska in previous years. I'm not saying Northern Iowa wins that football game, but it's not a 31-point victory, and your defense doesn't hold them to just 3 points. That in and of itself is a victory. You'll get to the film room tomorrow. You'll get to clean up some of the mistakes. We don't have that coach's perspective on what the game plan actually was. There's a great story that Dr. Dane Todd told on your show, Hooksy, on a Friday morning, where they were talking. It was a Nichols State game, and the following week was USC. And all week at practice, they're repping against the Nichols State offense. I guess the defense from Dane Todd. And they show up to the game on Saturday, and they go, "What are we doing here? This is not what Nichols State came out and played against us." And it ends up being a comfortable victory for Nebraska. And at the end of the game, Bill Callahan, he's disappointed in the team, but he also lets them know, hey, all week long, we were already working USC stuff. We don't know what Nebraska was working this week. We don't know what their game plan was. We don't know how much they were keeping up the sleeve. And that's not Elijah Herbal coming out and defending a performance that left something to be desired for Nebraska. I just want to say a lot of times there's more to the story that we don't know. And we don't know what we don't know about this performance tonight. So that's why I'll just say, hey, it takes a good defense to hold any team to 3 points in college football, and you have to be the better team to go out there and win by 31 points in any given performance. So there's still reason for optimism. It's still a step in the right direction, despite the fact it didn't look how a lot of Husker fans want it to look. And hey, a cover is a cover.
Good teams win, great teams cover. And, hey, Nebraska able to move on to Illinois unbeaten. And what do you think of the old pig farmer, Hooksy, and Illinois coming in on a Friday night?
Well, you know what? I think, Coach Rule, like we've talked about this, and I think a lot of times you relate this to the basketball world with your non-con and your rotation of 10, right? What happens in the conference time? That rotation goes to what? It gets real thin. All of a sudden you go to 8. I'm interested to see what that looks like as we get into conference play. We've seen, you talk about Harburg, the packages and things like that. How much of that's going to go out the window, and you're going to be going with your dudes, and you're going to start to figure out who you are and what your identity is as you scale back and zero in on really what we're trying to do. I'm going to be interested to see what that looks like as we go on to a very tough team. Like, they're going to be tough. They're going to try to run it down your throat. They're going to try to hit you in the mouth. How do we respond to that type of football coming up?
What in the world has happened with Indiana football, Tim Bob? 42-13. They drop a nuke on UCLA tonight.
Wow.
Well, and I flipped back and forth on that game, but they brought in some dudes, and Indiana's a little more frightening than they looked at the start of the season. I think that's another lower level coach that's come up and taken over. I don't know him. I saw him at the Big Ten media days a little bit, and he's got a plan. And again, you can coach at any level. So he's got Illinois playing well. I would say Duck Jones kind of called me out here. He said maybe that's the answer. Coach talked about taking a lead and then controlling the game in the second half. In the feed here a little bit. So, going back to Coach Rule's comments about we were comfortably ahead, we controlled the second half, we scored 13 points, didn't have to be pretty, we just wanted to win. So he kind of answered my question about second half performance.
I'd like to
maybe.
One thing about Indiana, I took off my headset for just a second as Tim Bob continued on there, but to get back to Indiana, not a huge surprise. They're playing better than I thought they would, but I thought they'd be good because it's my preseason notes here. I'm going back to them. Didn't think I'd do this. Last year, Indiana, 4 losses by a total of 17 points. Those 4 losses, Illinois, Michigan State, Purdue, and Louisville. All 4 of those games, a total of 17 points was their margin, those 4 losses. If they turn those 4 into wins, they're a 7-5 football team. I'd also like to add they upgraded at quarterback with Curtis Rourke, and they upgraded their front 7, which was the big issue on their team last year. They brought in a boatload of James Madison transfers for that defensive front 7, and James Madison last year 5th in the country against the run. Easier schedule for James Madison last year than what they're facing in the Big Ten. But I am not completely surprised by Indiana surprising some people this year. I thought they'd be good. I think they're probably a bowl team this year. I don't know how they match. I don't think UCLA is a good football team. Let me lay that out. They lost everyone on their defense last year. That was really good. And they lost some offensive talent as well. So I don't know how good UCLA is, but I'm not surprised to see Indiana surprising some people in the national media because they weren't that far off last year and they brought in talent.
Andy asks the question, Bill, do you get free Fairbury hot dogs?
You know what? No, and I don't want them. I want to support the community, and even though they're not made in Fairbury anymore, but yeah, no, I honor the purchase,
okay,
the capitalism and the economy the best I possibly can.
So
the answer is no.
they turned the lights off on us back
I
here. The bar's still working.
Yeah,
over there.
I was just going to ask. It looked like that maybe they just put the chairs up and gave you guys the keys and said, "Just lock up when you leave." Okay.
I grew up listening to Dandy Don Meredith on Monday Night Football singing "Turn out the lights, the party's over."
Turn out the lights, the party's over.
That was so good.
I'm not going anywhere because I still got most of my Guinness right now.
We have most of our Guinness, yes. But it is Real Red Reaction, about 30 minutes and some change for you to get in, 489-1240.
Is it too early for us to start looking ahead to Illinois? Because I just realized I got my Illinois notes here as well if we want to get into that. And we can
here's what we do know. We know that Illinois is going to be ranked. Indiana hosts Maryland. They go to Northwestern. They have Chico Bail Bond State later this month as well. So they are going to be unbeaten.
They won the Little League Championship a couple years ago.
Right. They did Kelly leak in his birth certificate. So I'll say this. Indiana will be undefeated when they play Nebraska, when they host Nebraska, coming off of a bye week before Nebraska goes to Ohio State. So you may have Illinois ranked. You may have Indiana ranked. Purdue got, just clubbed big time today by Notre Dame. So, Nebraska's schedule, as you look at it going into Ohio State, let's ask this question. Do you think Nebraska's unbeaten going into Ohio State still? After the non-conference, you get into the conference.
Well, let's start with Illinois. Because I got some stats here, and I said it preseason. Illinois, the book on them, their offense had a lot of question marks. They brought back Altmaier. He lost his top 2 targets, and they also lost their running back. The offensive line, though, I said should be above average. I think that's a fair assessment of their offense. I don't think they have dynamic weapons. I think they know what they are. I think they're going to run the football, try to be something of balance. 60-40 run to pass is kind of what I said. That's kind of what you see with this Illinois team this year. Defensively, strong secondary, strong linebackers. Defensive line's a big question mark. As you look at it now, the strength of their defense is their pass defense. In games against Eastern Illinois, Central Michigan, and Kansas, they have allowed 4.3 yards per rush, 125 rushing yards per game against those 3 teams. That's not great. I think Nebraska probably runs the ball better than those teams. We'll see what the game plan looks like. From a passing perspective, though, they're only allowing 4.8 yards per attempt, 150 yards per game, and they're holding opponents. It's just above 50% completion percentage, 49 of 93 on the season, teams against Illinois, but they also have 6 interceptions, and they've forced 5 fumbles. What Illinois is going to, I think, be susceptible to running the football, where they get you, turnovers. That's my game plan. I don't think they faced a quarterback like Dylan Raiola either. Turnovers are going to be paramount next week. Offensively, Illinois is just all right. They need their defense to set them up and play complementary football. They've gotten it thus far this year. I still like Nebraska's chances next week. It all comes down to me to turnovers and running the football.
So, fellas, based on the 3 games we've watched, Nebraska will or won't be able to run the football next week.
I think Nebraska's. I think Illinois is going to come after Raiola. I think they're going to look at and see. Nobody has touched him. I think he's been sacked once in 3 games.
That wasn't ruled a sack,
right? Yeah. So I think Bielema. I think Bielema is going to look at this and go, look. It was UTEP, it was Colorado, who doesn't play physical, and it was Northern Iowa, who doesn't have a pass rush against Nebraska. Now, Raiola did a nice job of getting rid of the football, and he was elusive at a couple of times. But I got to believe that Illinois is going to decide, all right, let's see if this kid really is that good, especially when he faces pressure up front. And if Mazuka's not back, Nebraska's offensive line could be susceptible, and there could be some gaps in the dam. So I think they're going to come out it and say, let's see if the kid can beat us. And if he does, he does. If he doesn't, then he's still just a true freshman.
You should have that home field. It's your defense that can still go win you football games, guys. The black shirts.
And the defense is the strength of the team. Let me ask the question: what's the strength of the offense? Does Nebraska? I think I asked this question.
It's their quarterback. It's their quarterback.
Quarterback. Yeah.
Does Nebraska have a bread and butter? If things aren't going well for Nebraska in the first half against Illinois next week, what do they turn to from a bread and butter point of view? Good offenses have a bread and butter that they can turn to. Do we know what that is for Nebraska yet?
Nebraska throws a real nice, and this is not any shade, I promise. Nebraska throws really well to the running backs. The running backs seem to get 5 to 7 yards every time they touch the ball on a pass. You didn't see any quick game today where the perimeter blocking was under the microscope. They didn't go to it. That was one of the questions we were wondering about. Well, Nebraska's perimeter blocking, they didn't even jack with it. So Chris says, stop crying. We're not just asking questions here. So I think their passing game, I think their quarterback is my.
There are guys that are open.
That's my strength. Yes,
there are receivers that are running open. It is remarkable. When you
is he going to have time to find the guy?
When you watch from the press box, it is, and he does a great job of finding the open receiver. It may not be all the way downfield. It may be 7-8 yards, but Nebraska's got some great schemes, route running schemes where guys are getting open. And maybe this a receiver out of the backfield, running back out of the backfield, but they get guys open pretty well, and he finds them.
You know what? Nebraska may just give me and some of us a middle finger here a week from Friday or Friday night, and they may just come out locked in, fine-tuned, with a killer script, a hungry defense, and they may put it on Illinois too. They may look incredible.
I'm not sure if you can read between the lines with what I said with my Illinois preview. I don't think Illinois matches up well with Nebraska.
You don't think they're very good?
No. I don't know. I didn't say that. I didn't say I don't think they're very good. I don't think they match up well with Nebraska.
I think their defense is going to be more athletic than what Nebraska's faced, which will allow them to put some pressure on Raiola that he has not seen. Now, he might pick them apart, but I think that they will use that athleticism that UTEP, Colorado, and Northern Iowa have not possessed for what they've seen. They've had 3 great tune-ups to get to this point of the season, and it wasn't until October, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 last year that Nebraska reached its 3rd win.
That's fair.
And that was the win over Illinois when we thought, they've got some momentum going, and they end up having a winning month of October. But they're already halfway to bowl eligibility.
Yeehaw.
Well,
bring on Detroit.
Right. I laid it out. I think Nebraska's offensive line has a huge advantage on Illinois next week. I'll lay that out.
I think so.
The defensive line, I think Nebraska's O-line has an advantage. I think if Illinois' game plan is downhill rushing attack early and often, I think Nebraska's defense under Tony White has shown it can make the necessary adjustments. Will Illinois pick up yards on the ground? Probably. Will Nebraska also be able to stuff them and make them a little bit one-dimensional if your offense can make some hay? Yes. That's why. So I said, I think it comes down to not turning the football over, because I like Nebraska's chances everywhere except how often Illinois generates turnovers as a defense, or takeaways, I should say. If Nebraska turns the football over, all bets are off. But if they're able to protect the ball like they have through the first 3 games, I like their chances of a mano-a-mano battle against Illinois, because the front 4 is not the strength of Illinois' defense. And I think if you force them to load up the box in order to stop Nebraska's rushing attack, you can take advantage of their secondary. So that's kind of where I'm at with Illinois.
Tim Bob, I know it's a different year and a different Illinois team, to Elijah's point about that front 4 of Illinois. You had 2 guys go in the top 5 rounds from that Illinois. Newton went in was he a first or second round guy? I think Newton went first round, if memory serves. And you still found a way to win 20-7 a year ago against a better Illinois D-line last year with last year's offense. Presumably you're a better offense now. You got a better quarterback. You've got more balance. You can throw the football. Maybe you shouldn't sweat.
Well, I think the atmosphere is going to be electric. I mean, a Friday night football game in Lincoln is going to be off the hook. I mean, I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. I'm an old man. I can't say that. But it's going to be crazy.
You give me off the chain.
Off the chain. There you go. It's going to be electric. And I think the crowd will play a factor in that. And I do think they'll be able to run the football against that front. And again, there are a lot of weapons on this team. When I look at all the places that they can move the ball, I think I don't remember having this many weapons in a long time. The receivers outside, the little guy they brought in that run the reverse, and
Barney.
And thank you, Barney. The tight end position, they got running backs. I mean, there's a lot of talent out there. So I think Nebraska can decide how they want to attack Illinois, as opposed to saying we've got to do this or we've got to do that. They've got weapons, and we'll see if Illinois can stand up to Raiola in the running game and the different places that they can go. I just hope the second half, I realize, Coach Rule said we wanted to win and we were ahead, and so we controlled the game. I want to see a second half because I think it will get tighter as the season goes along, and you've got to be able to finish those plays in the second half and not have those silly little mistakes. But I think it's going to be electric, and I look forward to them being – I think they can be – the team that worries me is Rutgers, honestly. That's the team that worries me is Rutgers more than any of them because, the coach there, Shiona, or I said his name wrong, but he's a little bit like –
It's Soprano.
Whatever. He's a little bit like Rule. He went to the pros. He came back, and he's rebuilt that program and that model of toughness and physicality. And I think that's a matchup that I look at that could be the real test before Ohio State, in my mind.
This is the Real Red Reaction. Last call for you here. We got about 25 minutes.
Hooksy,
25 minutes. What'd you say?
Oh, I thought Hooksy was motioning he wanted to add something to that because we need to take a quick break here.
No, he's asking for the rum and diet.
No, I wish. I can't. I don't have my bell with me. My wife's in there.
Oh, wow. Dude, you're going to get hit with a steel chair.
She can't hear me.
She's streaming in the other room, and you're a dead man. It's Bill Hooks. It's Bob Kitzmiller, Elijah Herbal, Chris Schmidt, Bill Dolman. It's apparently a Real Red Reaction after dark here at the single barrel. We're powered by Slim Chickens. Get your wings ordered now. Get your wraps. Get your chicken fingers. Get your desserts. Get your sweet tea. Get it all happening. And 2 locations for you with Slim Chickens in the capital city. 14th in Pine Lake, 84th in Old Shady. We'll take
it's out by me.
It is.
Oh, I gotta go.
That means it's wing time at Billy D's. I like it. Like and subscribe. Real Red Reaction YouTube, Hail Varsity YouTube, Hail Varsity Radio Twitter, KFOR Facebook and Twitter, and you always hear Real Red Reaction on KFOR, KFORnow.com, where you stream and can listen on FM and AM as well. A timeout, Mr. Dylan Raiola. When we come back, some final thoughts as you can jump in at 489-1240, or if you're out of state, streaming us, and it's all good. We met a lot of folks from out of state. 800-825-5865. So Real Red Reaction, powered by Slim Chickens, continues, and then Dylan Raiola on the way.
Check it out. KFOR is giving you a chance to win one of 3 new computers along with a Bluetooth phone stand from Schrock Innovations. Just listen mornings to Schmidt, Carol, and Jeff, or log on to KFORnow.com daily for your chance to get qualified. Check it out. KFOR will award 1 Schrock Innovations technology package each week.
And in tech news,
get details and sign up to win today at KFORnow.com.
That's a win-win-win-win-win-win.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street, family owned and operated. Always the best value.
I'm Sergeant Jones with the Nebraska State Patrol. Driving drunk puts everyone on the road at risk. In Nebraska, over 30% of all roadway fatalities occur in alcohol-related crashes, and every one of those could have been prevented. The decision to give your keys to a sober driver could be the decision that prevents a roadway tragedy. Help keep Nebraska roads safe and always drive sober. This message is presented by the Nebraska State Patrol and the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
My bathroom was looking tired. The sparkle was gone. I wanted to update it, but I didn't want to spend a fortune and turn my home into a construction site. So I needed some guidance. My friend told me to go to Handyman.
You've got your very own Handyman to help remodel your home.
I couldn't believe all the mirrors, lights, and accessories they had on display in their showroom. Man, was it handy being able to walk through the showroom with the help of the Handyman staff.
Make your bathroom the best reflection of you.
Contrary to popular belief, it doesn't always take a wrecking ball to update your ugly bathroom.
Replace your bathroom light bar, mirror, faucet, and towel bars without breaking the bank or the walls.
Come in and see what's trending at Handyman. We have dozens of mirrors and lights in stock and on display. Just pick one out and take it home.
Grab coordinating faucets and towel bars, and you can DIY your bathroom in one weekend.
During September, save 10% on all mirrors and light bars and bring a new sparkle back into your home.
Under the arch on Sun Valley Boulevard, Lincoln.
Are you in the housing market? Whether buying or selling, a roof inspection can make or break the deal. This is Matt Berkey, co-owner of Golden Rule Contractors. With all the storm damage this season, the last thing you need to hold up your closing is a damaged roof. Our name is our promise. We work with buyers, sellers, and realtors. If you need a new roof, we'll get it done right without all the hassles. So contact Golden Rule Contractors for a free real estate roof inspection. We treat your real estate deal as if it were our own.
Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Air. The folks with the stars and stripes on their trucks and patriotism in their tool belts know when the crapper's backed up and there's everywhere, when water is spewing all over the place and the smell makes you can count on Patriot Plumbing to unclog the pipes, stop the leak, and clean up the For all your plumbing emergencies, call 402-464-7411. Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Air. The choice of patriots everywhere.
Chatting today with Debbie about her experience with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. Now, Debbie, you had a huge project. How did it go?
My experience was wonderful. I worked with Taylor, and if he was my son, I'd be very proud.
That's quite the endorsement. What were the details of your project?
I had 2 bathrooms done, a new kitchen, and a pretty large flooring project.
And did they get it done in the time frame you were expecting?
Well, it took 2 weeks because it was a big job.
Did the quality of work meet your expectations?
Yes, it was excellent.
Would you recommend 3-Day Kitchen and Bath to someone that was deliberating on redoing their kitchen or bathroom?
I would, and I have already.
Sounds like you'd give them a 5-star rating.
I did.
There you have it. Another 3-Day Kitchen and Bath satisfied customer. Request your in-home consultation today at 877-229-8829.
Anything goes. Anything can be said. The Real Red Reaction Show is live now on KFOR.
Back here, winding down to the Single Barrel Real Red Reaction. Can stream the show, KFOR, KFORnow.com. Real Red Reaction, YouTube, Hail Varsity YouTube, KFOR, Facebook, Twitter, at Hail Varsity Radio. Twitter, Elijah Herbal in studio, Chris Schmidt, Bill Hooks, Tim Bob Kitzmiller, Bill Dolman popped by. They have Guinness here as he has made his way there. And let's hear from Dylan Raiola. Great performance tonight. Big-time passer rating. Huskers get the win and the cover, 34-3. Here's Dylan.
Yeah, it was something I didn't really expect. Turning around and I saw a guy free runner. But just trusting my technique. I know did a little move and Jalen was open. So Yeah, it was just trying to make a play, and the play was made, and I'm happy for Jalen. He got that big reception.
What's going through your mind when he was kind of coming from your blind side, and like you said, you just turn around and see him. You don't have a lot of time to react in that situation. So how do you respond to that? How do you train to deal with that?
Yeah, I think Coach Thomas does a good job of emphasizing get your head around, and I had enough time to quickly make a decision of what I wanted to do, and I was just thankful we got out of it and had a positive play out of it.
He was that second series, or what was it like? I guess it was like 20 minutes of real time where you guys were kind of on the sidelines when they had that long drive, and just how important it was for you guys to respond.
Yeah, they did a great job all game of keeping the ball away from us on offense. We just know on the sideline we just kept saying we got to make it count. We got to make sure we put points up when we get that ball back. So I feel like we did a good job of that. And we've cleaned some things up from last week, and we saw it show up in the game. So that's exciting to see. Yeah, I'm so excited for them. They work their tails off every week. Carter, from where he's came to now, I can't give him enough praise. He's been playing 8-man his whole life and gets into a college game and gets a touchdown, third game in the season. So just happy for him, happy for his family, and obviously Ja'Cory. It's my guy. He's a knucklehead and he makes plays. So proud of him, and I know he's gonna make more.
Between those two guys and you and Isaiah, that's everyone who accounted for the first 3 touchdowns, and all of them are new this year to this offense. So what do you think that says? What does that mean about this team's ability now to go into the Big Ten?
Yeah, I think Coach Satt was just dialing it up. I mean, he knows his strengths of his players, and he knows what we're good at, and he allows us to capitalize on what we're good at. And I think everyone knows that their turn can be in any play. So they run their routes, they bust their butts to block and run their routes full speed to, if their number's called in the play and they don't expect it, they're going to expect it because they're always running full speed. So they're just trained that way and built different.
25% for the season. How do you grade yourself so far?
Sorry, say it again.
I said, how do you grade yourself so far? 25% through the season.
Yeah, I think it's early to tell. I mean, we're winning games, so that's all that matters to me, honestly. Just excited for this university and to see what Coach has done for this program. I'm just so happy for the older guys, and we know we're not even close to done yet. So that's the exciting part. We get, I think, 9 more opportunities or 8, whatever it is, to be together. So we'll make sure we cherish that.
Speaking of those 9, they're all going to be Big Ten games. How excited are you to get going in that level of play? It's going to be tougher than probably what you face so far.
Yeah, it's time the season starts, and time the games to begin. And it's you treat those 3 games like real games, but you really find out your identity before you get into these conference games that mean everything. So I know our team's been excited, and it's finally here. So we're ready to get back at it tomorrow and get ready for Illinois.
Can you just talk about getting back to work just with the short week and just going into that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it just starts tonight. Like, our team understands that we're on a short week, and there's probably going to be 2 ranked teams on Friday night, which has nothing to do with us. But I think we're mature, and we know that we're going to do whatever it takes to win. And I mean, honestly, probably just for myself, I'll probably watch the game tonight and be over with it and get ready to move on, because you and I played really hard, and we knew they were going to play really hard. And with the short week, we don't have enough time to kind of break that game down and learn from it like we had in the past.
I heard that there are some different packages. You enjoy that, and also the reaction you got from the crowd there in that sequence.
Yeah, I love it. I love when my guy, my partner's next to me and making plays. It's whenever I hear it in the headset, I get really excited for him, and just know that the crowd loves him. I know when he came out, I was telling everyone to be quiet. I wasn't saying it in a disrespectful way. I was trying to get our guys as quiet as we could to be at home. But just love seeing him make plays, and we all know he was capable of it. And yeah, just happy for him, proud of him, and he's going to keep building off of that. Yeah, it was just a bad play, bad throw. I mean, the protection was perfect. I had all day. Jalen ran really fast, and Thomas did his job in his part of the concept. And I just got to let him run and then throw it out there and let him go run under it. I mean, you learn from it and you move on. And just glad we came out with the win.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
It's Dylan Raiola. We've got a 5-minute shot clock starting now as it is last call for Real Red Reaction. Powered by Slim Chickens, 84th and Old Shady, 14th and Pine Lake. Get your wing orders in when you get that fantasy lineup set. So it's a big day at NFL tomorrow.
And after listening to the Average Joe Sports Show.
Yes, the Average Joe Sports Show pod drops live at 10:30. Bill's ripping his
had enough.
He's out.
It's on to Illinois.
Have you had enough, Hooksy? Final thoughts as we go round table here.
Yeah, man. Look, you got the win. You're 3-0. And by the way, how old is that kid that was just talking? That's incredible. Seriously, that is incredible.
Call him sir, damn it.
I mean, damn, that is incredible, man. What a not just a talent, but what a great young man. Talk about his teammates the way he talked about them. But you're right, man. You're 3-0. You know what? Like Bill just did. Damn it, we're done on Illinois.
All right. Tim Bob, what do you say, Big Cat?
Hey, stacking wins, did what they're supposed to do, 3-0. Now we go into Big Ten play. Illinois comes in here. It's going to be a great opportunity and an electric atmosphere. And I expect, they continue to improve and stack wins. Again, my only concern is the second half. That third quarter in particular needs to come out with some electricity. They've shown they can script the first half, and, Dylan can deliver. They've got weapons. I just want to see them grow with consistency. But, hey, love the win, 3-0. That's what you set out to do, chasing 3, and keep making improvements. So go Big Red.
Elijah Herbal, what do you say, Big Cat?
As you look around college football, plenty of the top teams have struggled. What I'm saying is everyone needs to get better from week 1, week 2, week 3 to what they need to be at the end of the year. Nebraska's no exception. Oregon struggled last week and the week before. Penn State struggled. Georgia struggled tonight. Top teams are going to struggle. It's going to happen. You don't always have your A game. I don't think Nebraska had their A game tonight, but I think it still means something that they won by 31. The defense only allows 3 points. The offense never had to send the punter out there. You weren't on your A game. You still were able to accomplish all of those goals right there. More work to be done. You need to be better whenever Illinois comes to town on Friday night. But how could you be discouraged by a 3-0 start capped off by a 31-point victory? It's Matt Rule and the coaching staff's job to stress about the things that need to get better. As a fan base, I think you can be happy that you're 3-0 for the first time in forever, and you have what could be a top 25 ranked matchup coming your way on Friday night. Again, you got to be better. You got to keep on proving. So does everyone in America.
It's Elijah Herbal, Chris Schmidt, Bill Dolman, Tim Bob Kitzmiller, and one Bill Hooks. I think that Nebraska will go back to work tomorrow. They'll show up better this coming Friday when it comes to tackling. They'll have a little bit more oomph in the run game, and they'll still have that threat of the passing attack because they have something that no one else in the Big Ten has. And that's I'm going to say it, an all-conference caliber quarterback. I know Ohio State's supposed to be Ohio State, but Nebraska's got a quarterback that everybody else in the Big Ten would want. And that can be a difference maker. It might be a difference maker Friday night. Bill?
Nebraska's schedule was set up perfectly. Nebraska's record is perfect, and they haven't played perfectly. I think tonight's game is not surprising given the fact that, as I said, last week's show, everything went as they hoped it would go scripted-wise, and they got a big win. They dismantled Colorado. there wasn't a letdown tonight, but there was just a lull. I mean, the students last week were full up to the top of the bleachers an hour and a half before the game. Tonight they were there when the game started. So I think to that end, I think that Matt Rule is happy where they are and happy that he has things to be agitated about tomorrow morning.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll have their attention and understanding that what lies ahead is going to be perhaps their biggest challenges of the season. And I know they've got Wisconsin and Iowa, but they've got to be focused for well-coached teams in Illinois. Purdue's their first road game. They got dismantled today, but it's their first road game of the season. And then Greg Schiano and Rutgers. And then Indiana's playing well. So I think they've got some challenges coming up in their next 4 weeks.
Bill, thanks for popping in. Thank you on the stream and checking us out on the airwaves with Real Red Reaction, powered by Slim Chickens.
Are we done on the stream? I guess we're clear on the air.
We're clear on the air. We're clear on the air. We're still streaming away.
Do we want to keep? We can open up to the people. I mean, I know everyone signed contracts supposed to be up by midnight. I think everyone's saying good night.
I'm going to bed, boys. I'm an old man.
Tim Bob's out.
Shut her down.
Hooksy's going to go find a bell to ring.
All right.
Only so much to talk about Northern Iowa.
Yeah.
On that note,
I love you all.
Yeah.
We'll see you
right.
next time.
Yeah. Check us
Good
out,
boys.
by the way. Schmitty, Bill, myself, the Average Joe Sports Show reaction show, 10:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. There's the free plug for ourselves.
All right, Hooks, appreciate you.
See you guys. Thank you guys.
Get your Slim Chickens for your NFL Sunday.
By the way, you're hired, by the way.
I am?
Yeah, with me. I mean, you talk about Slim so well, like way better than I talk about it. Jeez.
Have a nice night, y'all.
We
See
love
you guys.
you all. Appreciate
You guys.
you in the stream. Talk soon. Peace.